dashboard. That's it, dashboard. And we're going to drive. And we're not looking at the chat, guys. I will ignore the chat, pretty much. God, I sound arrogant as hell, don't I? Bloody hell. Why would you even watch this? So anyway, I'm going to go to the gym this morning. Like, I bet you many people right now around the world, you know, their New Year's resolution, I'm going to get fit. I'm going to get fit. We're going to go to gym and we're going to get fit. I mean, have you had that resolution? Every year I have that resolution. Every year. Though in the last probably 2 years I've gone, fuck it, no, I don't have a New Year's resolution at all, because I know I never do them. It's always the two same things. Get fit, actually, well, pretty much lose weight. That's probably it, really. People don't think about getting fit. They like, let's lose weight. Hey Bill, Happy New Year, mate. Everyone wants to lose weight and drink less alcohol, right? Well, generalizing, nearly everyone. So why am I going to gym? I didn't have a New Year's resolution. Like I said, I did 75 hard and I lost a bit of weight. Hey Deb, Happy New Year. And I didn't want to go backwards, guys. I worked very hard in that 75 hard. I mean, if I just went, fuck it, after I did 75 hard and ate like a, you know, crazy person, drank all the soda drinks that I used to drink, and chocolate and alcohol, then, you know, I wasted that, you know, that 75 days. And that'd be pretty sad, I'm gonna be honest. So that's why I've been trying to maintain or keep relatively healthy and fit. It has been Christmas, so it's hard. I'm gonna be honest, it's hard. So I ate a lot over Christmas, but that's why I did that Holiday 100, right? We walked 100 kilometers. Hello, how you going? I can't see who's in the chat, but I'm just saying hello. I walked 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles in the 9 days over Christmas. So New Year's Eve to New Year's Day. So ticking off the first thing, you know, that I've done other than make my bed on New Year's Day. So that's good, right? And I also finished a book yesterday that I started in 2025. So I officially first finished one book, started a new book this morning. I feel amazing reading a new book. It's called Wabi Sabi. Does anyone know what Wabi Sabi means? It's very interesting. It's a Japanese book on Wabi Sabi, written by a lady in the UK that spent like 30 years living and working and learning about the Japanese culture. And Wabi Sabi, what I've got so far out of reading maybe the first 5 pages, is that Wabi Sabi, sounds like a really weird word, not wasabi. Wabi Sabi means around about life is beautiful, but it's imperfect, right? So I don't know if you've seen some of those artifacts in Japan where they've got beautiful bowls and then there'll be a little bit of imperfection. So that is what they're trying to say, is that imperfection is beautiful. And I think that's kind of beautiful, right? That, you know, we're all beautiful souls, right? I mean, even everyone watching this, you know, in this live or, you know, replay, there's something beautiful about your soul, right? But we are always picking at our imperfections, like, oh my God, I've got too many freckles, or I've got squinty eyes, or my hair's receding, I'm going grey. I'm just talking about myself, right? I don't often think like that. But, you know, those imperfections can make us beautiful, right? Like those freckles. One of my friends, Mike Adventure Sparks, said to me, he goes, freckles are like angel kisses. I'm like, wow, that's actually really beautiful. I'm like, oh, I love my cheeks. I love my freckles. And, you know, my squinty eyes, I can say that about myself, guys. But do you know how many people in my life have called me squinty eyes or Asian eyes or ching chong? People are mean, right? I'm half Asian, I'm half Indonesian, half Australian, born in Australia. But kids are mean, adults are mean. Even in my adult life, people are still racist as fuck because I have squinty eyes. I mean, fuck. I actually now think, I embrace it and think, you know what? I get to see the world out of these eyes, regardless of if they're squinty or they're big or they're, whatever. I've seen some amazing things and I'm very, very grateful for them. So, yeah. And, I'm starting to, my hair's starting to recede. I'm getting older, right? I'm getting the wrinkles. The hair's going grey and I keep on dyeing it. I'm holding on to that, trying to hold on to that little bit of youth. But maybe that imperfection that's what makes me unique, and maybe that's what makes me beautiful. Interesting. So anyway, that's what I've got out of 5 pages of this Wabi Sabi book so far. So it's fucking cool. I'm down for it. The book was given to me from a good friend, and I'm really enjoying it. So I look forward to giving it more updates about Wabi Sabi and what it means. But why am I going to gym this morning, Dora? What the hell? Why aren't you walking on a beach like normal? Well, interesting. A friend of mine rang me and said, hey, do you want to catch up? I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, do you want to come to gym with me? I'm like, I'm not paying to go to gym. I don't want to pay to go to gym. I'm a tight ass, right? I'm saving for trips, right? And she's like, no. Where we used to go to gym, so I used to go to gym with her, or we used to go to the same gym, put it that way. We're high school friends. And I used to work next door to the building. It's not locally where I live. It's like 30 minutes away from where I live. And so I used to go there all the time. It used to be called Fitness First. It was one of the first kind of gyms that had multiple gyms back in the day, right? I'm talking 25 years ago now, 20 years ago maybe. Anyway, it was a pretty cool gym. Had all the classes, all the things, got a pool in the middle, sauna. They got a sauna. Cool, yeah. Anyway, I don't go to it anymore, right? I don't go to a gym. I'd rather, I don't know, I've got something on my chin. I'd rather exercise outdoors. Like you see me doing push-ups, outdoors. Triceps, outdoors. Squats, outdoors. Boxing, outdoors. I like outdoors. So anyway, I decided, you know what? Fuck it, why not? Because I haven't been going to Pilates in the last couple of weeks because Pilates has been on holidays. And she said, yeah, let's do a body balance class. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. I've never done a body balance class. I can't remember what that is. So yeah, I'm going to go do a body balance class. And I get in for free. And she said, oh, it's actually, normally it's every weekend you can get in for free with a paying guest, a paying member. But apparently for the whole month of January, you can get in for free with a friend that has a membership. I don't think I'll come that often, but I might come a couple of times just for an experience, right? And tell you about it. I'm all about sharing my experiences. So I really wanted to talk today about the goddamn news. I'm on a bit of a rant at the moment, guys. So let me just go back. So you guys have heard me talking about meeting up with Paul D Australia in Bali, and how I kind of invited along Jazz Nomad TV and Nicola's Adventures, who both I haven't met. The 3 of them I haven't met, but they're all really cool people that I'd love to meet. And we're going to meet in Bali. Yes, Paul's down for this, right? He's very down. He knows Jazz and Nicola too. So he's down for this. So Paul has been like, for the last 4 months going, Dora, book your flights, book your flights, book your flights, book your flights. Jazz is like, book your flights, organise this. But Jazz has been away for 2 months. So I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. Plus there's a few moving parts because I add things to my holidays, right? I don't do things simply, right? You know that. It's all or nothing with me. So to add to just going to Bali for 10 days, that'd be easy, Dora. Just book it and be done. No, Dora was like, hey, Jazz, you're coming from, halfway around the world. Why don't you come with me to go to Sumatra and visit my mum's house and get a real ethnic Indonesian experience? And she's like, I'm down for that. I'm like, cool. So that means my mum is also going to be there. My sister's going to be there and my niece. So trying to work out that timeline. So I'm going to be honest, I've put it back to it's just too hard. It's like a mind fuck trying to figure that out. It's not as easy as just going to a flight center anymore and travel agent. They don't do that anymore. They don't give a shit about flights because they don't make any money on them. They want you to book the accommodation, which I never book accommodation through flight centers and stuff like that. I book them you know, I stay relatively cheap places. So anyway, and then in the last week it was Christmas, and then obviously, you know, we've got this massive timeline. We have to be out of the house by the 8th of January. No, yeah, the 8th of January. So the house is like an absolute craziness. Like, there's so much stress happening. Poor Dora. Oh my God, I feel like a fucking broken record. But yeah, Diego's very, very stressed. He's got it demolished underneath the house. The house is getting lifted and moved over. So that means all the foundations, the walls of the house has to be kind of moved, and yeah. So there's a lot of moving parts. And one of the moving parts yesterday that I had to deal with was going through my dad's books. So people that know me know that I'm a daddy's girl. My dad passed away 8 years ago. My dad was one of, you know, he was the most favorite person in my life, my role model, my everything. And yeah, he passed away. And the house that I bought, or house that I live in, is originally my dad's house. It's actually the family house, but I purchased off him before he passed away to help look after and maintain the house, because we thought it was going to fall down at one stage. And I thought my dad would live forever. Apparently he didn't. And so anyway, my dad's stuff is in the house, and you know, over the years, 8 years, I have, you know, bit by bit gone through stuff, given it away, donated, did many things with it, right? But one of the things that was really hard for me to address was his books. My dad was quite an intelligent person, a philosopher, was into everything and anything. It's very much like me, isn't it? Into everything and anything. And I'm not a philosopher, I'm not that. But anyway, he was very much into the environment, the world, everything about, you know, looking after this planet. I'm into that too, but he's on a different degree. He wrote a book about the dictionary of botanical names. So he's an author, he's an artist, he's many things, and he's also my dad. He had many reference books. So it's hard to go through books that my dad, there's many, you know, there's bookmarks and there's writing on all these books. These were his resources. He would read some of these books every day and draw, you know, oh, I need to get that quote. He would get that book out and read the quote. So these books were well used. And they're also very damaged, right, for over the years. So no one wants them, right? You can't give them away to an op shop and just chuck them away. But it just felt so bad just getting rid of them. So that's why I put them in big boxes through the years of this renovation that has been happening for the last 3 years. And they've sat in big boxes, and they're so heavy, you can't even lift the boxes. They're so heavy. And I think they went to about 5 boxes. There's a lot, they're big crates. We're talking big crates. So my half sister Tracy, who's very into plants, she's come up before and she's gone through the books. She's taken some books. My sister has also gone through the books. Anyway, so I'm still left with like 4 crates of books or something ridiculous. What do I do with them? And I'm going to be honest, going through them is painful, guys. It's painful. It's grief, right? And I just didn't want to do it. And I've been putting off for a while. My sister came over at Christmas Day, to obviously celebrate Christmas, but also went through some books too. And she took maybe, I don't know, a crate full. So I think I was left with 3 crates. So then I went through them yesterday. I was forced to go through them. I was like, okay, it's time. It's time. And it was difficult. It was really difficult. Because so many of the books are my dad's favourite books. You know, I remember him reading them, and when I go visit him, the book would be open on the, you know, on the table. So, you know, there was a lot of memories in those books. A lot of memories. Oh, you can go there. Actually, no. I'm just trying to find a park, guys. So, yeah, it was painful. And I rang my half sister because I was in a state. I was really, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to chuck them away, and I couldn't chuck them away. I just couldn't in my heart chuck them away. But I also didn't know what to do with them because I can't carry the box. They're so heavy. They can't go upstairs. and downstairs is getting gutted, so they have to go. What do I do with them? If I take it to an op shop, they're going to chuck them away. So it was painful, guys. It was really painful. Anyway, I reached out to my half sister because I'm closer with my half sister, right? And I guess I was trying to get some guidance on what to do. And she pretty much said to me, well, you haven't done anything with it the last couple of years. What does it matter if you don't do anything with it now? I mean, obviously, I'm the only one addressing my reality, right? You know, I'm the one living in the house that has to get rid of all the stuff underneath the house. I've mentioned to her, I've sent her photos that, you know, we're gutting the underneath of the house. So she kind of knows that. But when I rang her, you know, obviously maybe I got her at the wrong moment. And she's just kind of went, well, you haven't, like, just put the lid on and don't deal with it another day. You know, you haven't done it for the last couple of years, so why do it now? But she didn't really understand that I have to address it. I have to do it. I have to get rid of it. You know, I've got pressure from, you know, Diego, like, get rid of these boxes, do something with them. So it was really, really upset when I got off the phone. I thought, oh, fuck, what am I doing with these boxes? It fucking hurt. I just didn't know what to do. And I was like, I was going through some of the books and keeping some of the books. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that book. I mean, these books, right, they've even got dates in them, right? From when my dad was in his 20s, right? My dad died at 87 years old, right? My dad was an older dad. He was 55 when he had me. And yeah, a couple of the books I opened up were books from 1950. 1950, guys, which is like 76 years ago. Holy shit. And then someone watching this will be like, Dora, who gives a fuck? You haven't read the book, chuck it. It's, you know, got cockroach poop all over it. It's half fallen off. Chuck it. You know, let go. And I was talking yesterday about finishing off this book that I read about, you know, stop thinking and overthinking things. And I was talking about the Buddhist way, about the monk way, not Buddhist, the monks. Monks, how they have this thing, but they don't have the attachment on people. They don't attach, so they don't feel the suffering. So, you know, if I was a monk, oh, hey, Debbie Sue, you're listening. You'll get it. So, you know, if you're a monk, you don't have attachment, so you don't love. I'm sure you love it a little bit, but you're learnt to not love, so you don't suffer when someone dies. It's not that easy, right? And obviously I'm not a monk. I'm not even a Buddhist. Hey, teacher Kelly Tag. So, yeah, so it was interesting, right? Like, you know, if you don't love, you don't suffer, right? If you don't love, you won't hurt when someone dies. But anyway, here I am going through these books. And, you know, I see the books and it's from 1920, right? 76 years ago. My dad wrote that book when he lived in Arncliffe, which is a little town just outskirts of Sydney. And, you know, yeah, he would have been a young person of the world, right? And he was a role model of mine. I can only imagine what he thought about when he was 20 reading that book. So I've kept the book. I couldn't keep all the books, right? But it was difficult. And anyway, I rang my sister, tried to get some guidance on what to do with these books. I just didn't know what to do. And I was just in a state of like anxiety. I don't even call it anxiety. It was just like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do with all these books? I have to do something. They can't stay. Like, they're going to get ruined in these boxes underneath the house. They can't stay there because the house is getting ripped up, right? And, you know, my sister that I'm really close with just kind of said, well, you haven't dealt with it for fucking, you know, for 3, 4 years, 8 years. Why does it matter? Why deal with it now? And in that moment, I thought, oh, that hurt. That really hurt. And you've got to step back and think, you know, she doesn't mean anything by it, right? She's not being hateful, but she's got no attachment to it. I mean, I know it's her dad too, but she never lived in the house. She's already gone through the book. She doesn't care. It's me that cares, right? So I guess, you know, it's a little bit of reflection of like, I don't want to be a monk, but like, my dad has passed away. He's no longer with us. He doesn't need those books. Why do you need those books, Dora? So anyway, it was just an interesting moment. Anyway, then I rang my sister that I don't really get along with, right? We get along because I have a niece. And, you know, Anyway, so I rang my sister and I'm like, hey, I know you were talking about trying to get hold of some secondhand bookshops that, you know, deal in, you know, rare books. Because there's some rare books that my dad had. Like, you know, he collected, you know, different books. So it would be a shame to just chuck them when I don't know anything about the books, right? So she rang some people and they said, okay, we can come out and get them. We can come out and look at them. They don't want to get them. They want to just look at them. They'll pick the ones they want, right? They're a secondhand bookshop. It's in the city. It's some special bookshop that deals with all kinds of books, but they know the value of books, right? They know what they're looking at. So I thought, this is great. So my sister then said, bring the books to my house and then I'll get them to come over. And I thought, fucking hallelujah. My sister steps up. My sister has never stepped up to help in any of these situations. But when I really needed it yesterday, she fucking stood up. So that was very interesting, guys. Very interesting. Whereas I would never think she'd ever stand up. So anyway, I'm going to wipe the tears away because, you know, it's an interesting moment. And my dad would be laughing at me going, fucking chuck the books, Dora. You know, Muriara. Chuck the books, Muri. That's what he would say. There was a book I did keep, Robinson Crusoe. Everyone knows the story Robinson Crusoe. I've never read the book. So I kept the book. I kept a few books, okay? I can't remember how many. I put them upstairs. We took the books yesterday to my sister's house. They're gone. Okay, Diego's happy. I feel a lot clearer because that's been off, the weight's lifted off my shoulders because I've been trying to deal with that for weeks and I just didn't want to deal with it. Another thing that I don't know why, but I haven't been able to sit down and organise my trip to Bali. Now, Paul sends me a weekly update, 90 days, 70 days, 3 weeks, whatever, you know, the countdown, right? He's so excited about going to Bali. And his Dora has not even fucking pulled her finger out to fucking book the flights. What the hell? And then I have Jazz Nomad TV, sending me messages going, hey, Dora, can you send me the dates for Bali so that I can organise my flights? So, like, she doesn't mean to put the pressure on me. It's the pressure I put on myself, right? And then I have my sister going, hey, what about the dates? When are you going to be in Sumatra? I need to work out my flights, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of stuff going on. And, you know, sometimes you have to give yourself a little bit of grace and know that it's okay. You can't do everything. You can't do everything. And, you know, I said to Jazz, hey, sorry, mate, you know, I'll get to it. Paul, every week I go, I'll be on it. And for my sister, I went, you know, I'll get you the date sooner or later, right? It is what it is. So, you know, maybe I do too much. People watching this will be like, maybe, Dora, maybe you do too much, right? What is wrong with going home after, you know, coming home after dinner and sitting down, instead of watching TV with Diego, sitting down and going on your computer and looking up some flights to Bali? It's not that fucking hard. You love travel. You've done it before. What the hell are you doing? And so this is the pressure in my back of my head. So anyway, last night, I mean, look, Diego and I, we might live together, but we're like, you know, we don't work together. We're like, you know, we see each other, but do we really communicate much? I don't know. But we have been working together with the house. I've been helping him. I've been a labourer. But, you know, our quality time is sitting down, having something to eat and then watching TV together. That is our quality time. Diego loves movies and TV. I'm partial. I don't really give a shit, to be honest. But it's something that he likes to do. So I do that with him, right? And I hold the phone. I don't look at my phone. I'm present in that moment, right? In that relationship kind of thing. So more often than none, we watch a movie or a series and I fall asleep. on the couch. I'm just tired. Like, I get up early, I do my routine, I do my things, right? I go to work or whatever. And then add to that, at the moment we're very busily renovating and there's some stressful stuff happening at work, at home. I've been helping hold up ceiling panels on the deck. It's very stressful. God, I'm a drama queen today. Anyway, it's over. The ceiling looks amazing. The ceiling looks amazing. It's done. But yeah, it's left me a little bit depleted, I'm gonna be honest. And probably emotional, and there's a lot of stuff going on, right? And anyway, so I sat down last night. I fell asleep on the couch as I did, but I thought, fuck it, Dora, you have to get this shit done. I had all these people in my mind, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault, guys. It's my fault. But I had the pressure going on in my head, and I put the pressure on myself, right? So I was like, pulled the laptop out, and I did it. I sat down and I worked out all the dates, going to Bali. But Dora, in her typical style, she's not just going to Bali. She's going to Bali, then she's going to Sumatra. But, on the way to Sumatra, the plane stops in Jakarta. I've never been to Jakarta. Jakarta's the capital of Indonesia. I'm half Indonesian. So I'm like, why not stay in Jakarta for a couple of days? Put that in the system. So I've worked this whole itinerary out, right? Down to my itinerary. I've worked out my mum's itinerary because she's going to go with my sister. So I've worked out my sister's itinerary. I don't have to do that, but I've done it because it makes it easier to coordinate everything, right? Put the dates together for Jazz. But this all underpins, like now I've come back to my mum, said, hey, do you want to do this? Right? I wanted to shout my mum a trip to Langkawi, right? I took my mum to Langkawi about 17 years ago. Her father died and I went over and my mum was very, very stressed losing her father, right? And it was my mum's birthday and I shouted her on the way home from Indonesia a trip to Langkawi, just for a couple of days. Langkawi is an island off Malaysia. And so I shouted a trip there and I loved Langkawi. Mum loved it too. She's always wanted to go back. So I thought, you know what? Let's shout mum a trip home via Langkawi. Anyway, so I ring my mum this morning. So I've given the dates to my sister to come back to me and see if she's okay with that. Because this also underpins, because if she doesn't, anyway, I'm not even going to go there. There's a lot of moving parts. You know what I ring my mum up this morning. You know what my mum says to me? And mum, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, mum, but stop watching the goddamn news. Now, guys, my mum, God love her, watches way too much news. And when you watch the news, you become blinkered thinking that the world is going to blow up, right? And that, there's going to be tsunami every fucking day. Now, I said to mum, oh, isn't it, let's go to some Langkawi. She goes, she'd already listened to my message. I left her a voice message. Very excited. Me at 1:30 in the morning, mind you. 1:30 in the morning. I'm so excited, planning all this trip. I left her a voice message to listen about the whole trip. And then I ring her this morning and she's like, oh no, I don't think that's a good idea because I don't want to stay by the beach because of, tsunamis. I'm like, do you know something that I don't know? Langkawi's never been hit by a tsunami. There's a first for everything, right? But, driving a car is also very, very dangerous. So anyway, I'm like, Mum, you can't really stay away from the beach in Langkawi, right? Because Langkawi is a little island. Everyone stays on the outside. So I'm like, okay, Mum, don't worry about it. Let's not go to Langkawi. So I'm a little bit disappointed, right? So anyway, don't worry about it. We won't go to Langkawi. It's all good. We'll just go straight home. Cool. Then she starts saying about my sister. Oh, my sister and my niece, obviously her grandchild. Oh, I don't want them staying anywhere else because, people might kidnap them and steal their kidneys and liver and lungs. I'm like, what? I'm like, Mum, there's a little bit of an undertone in every country you visit that, you could get kidnapped, right? I get that. But I said, my sister is not silly. She's not going to stay in a little shack in the middle of, some weird place. She's going to stay in a safe place, right? And I'm just like, I'm so frustrated. I'm like, I'm exhausted mentally and physically about all the things that are going on in my life. And then I'm listening to my mum go, oh, I don't want to stay at the beach because, a tsunami could happen. My sister, she shouldn't stay in a hotel because she could get kidnapped and her liver might get taken. I'm like, what the fuck? I think I need to go back to sleep and wake up, because I feel like I rolled out of bed and just, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I'm excited. I'm going to gym. I haven't been to this gym for like a million years, 20 years probably. I used to work next door to the gym. Ah, there's Paul. Paul, waiting, lurking. See, yeah, he's telling me how many days, right? Well, Paul, I'm on it. I'm on it. Now I've passed the buck, guys. I've passed the buck. I've organised all the flights. I haven't booked anything, but I've organised it all, the schedule.